When talking about the Toyota Tacoma, two things stand out: high quality reliability and the best looking compact truck money can buy. If you love your 12 to 15 Toyota Tacoma as much as I think you do, you should also check out the Morimoto XB LED Hybrid headlights for your Tacoma, because they also come with high quality reliability and they're the best looking headlights you can put on your truck. This is what your 12 to 15 came with off the lot, and if you still have these or any other aftermarket headlights installed on your Tacoma, you've got to do an upgrade, not only for your sake, but for your truck's sake and everybody else on the road. The Morimoto XB LED Hybrid headlights come with integrated LED projectors, a white DRL or an amber DRL. In just a minute, I'm going to prove to you how much better and brighter the Morimoto Hybrid headlights are than your stock setup, and then show you how to do the install so it's a no-brainer on your next weekend project. These Morimoto XB LED Hybrid headlights are 500% brighter than your stock headlights. Not only are they way brighter, but they also have a better beam pattern, which gives you greater visibility left and right to see animals, obstacles, and people in the ditches and in the woods. Here's what's wrong with your stock headlights. First of all, they look terrible. Do you see all the yellow haziness that makes it almost impossible to see inside the headlight? If yours look like this, think of how much of a hard time your stock halogen headlight bulbs are having getting out. Number two, these things are 6 years old at the newest, if not 9 years old if you got a 2012 model. That's a long time, and over that period, the technology in headlights has improved dramatically. Even the new Tacomas have some pretty cool headlight options for 2021. And that's what the Morimoto XB Hybrid is modeled after. It's got that new aggressive blackout projector styling and the shapes that are reminiscent of the 2021 Tacoma LED headlight. If I show you the back of your stock headlight, you're going to see this connector for your side marker, this connector for your high and low beam halogen bulb. You have two mounting brackets here, you have an adjuster here, you have another adjuster here, you have the lower mounting bracket, and you have the turn signal. If you take the turn signal bulb out, the original turn signal bulb fits in place exactly how it came out in the new hybrid headlight. So all the wiring is here. Your turn signal bulb reuses the original turn signal adapter. Your headlight wiring plugs into this H4 style headlight connector. Your side marker plugs into this connector that's exactly the same as your side marker. And you have this last blue wire single connector that runs the daytime running light. Now, your truck didn't come with a daytime running light, so that's another cool upgrade of the XB Hybrid. You see, the XB Hybrid has this big C-shaped DRL that goes around the outside of the two LED projectors. DRL stands for daytime running light, and it's something that your original headlights don't have. This is what really gives it that modern look. The cool thing about the Morimoto XB Hybrid is you can either get these headlights with the white daytime running light or the amber daytime running light. Now make no mistake, you can't get one headlight and flip between white and amber. It's an amber option or a white option. You get to choose during checkout. The only reason why these are called a hybrid headlight is because the majority of the lighting in them is a sealed LED function. That means the projectors have an LED on a circuit board behind it, the side marker has an LED circuit board, and the DRL is completely LED. There's no maintenance required on these headlights. They're a completely sealed unit, with the exception of your turn signal. Your turn signal bulb comes out of your stock headlight, and the whole assembly plugs into the new LED headlight. Now, if you want to go full LED, you can simply take out your original turn signal bulb and swap it in with an LED bulb. What we recommend is the GTR Lighting Carbide series with a switchback function. Not only do these give you that cool white and yellow switching back and forth look, but they also don't require any resistors on the Tacoma like other bulbs do. The C-shaped DRL that goes around the perimeter of the two projectors has two brightnesses. You've got your daytime running light, which is full brightness during the day when your headlights are off. So if you got the amber version, you'll have very bright amber. And then when you turn the headlights on, it'll dim to 50% brightness. If you got the white version of the headlights, this DRL will be a very bright white LED daytime running light. And then when you turn the headlights on, it dims to 50% brightness also. Each headlight has 2 projectors, and the one on the outside of each headlight is your low beam. And then when you go to high beam, the inside one on each headlight also turns on, giving you that incredible high beam you're about to see. On the side corner of each headlight, you also have this little LED circuit board built into the reflector. Instead of having a little halogen light bulb up here stuffed in the corner that's guaranteed to burn out from heat, you have 3 little LEDs on a circuit board. These light up amber to replace your side marker function with a much brighter option. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Here we're going to talk about the brightness and the beam pattern of the headlights, not just how they work. Now, when measuring brightness, we start with the stock old halogen headlights, and we use a digital lux meter, not a lumen meter, to measure the actual usable brightness at a certain space. So we park the truck at 25 feet, we put in the stock headlights, we measure it, and then however much brighter the LED headlights are tells you how much better they're going to be on the road. But that's not the whole story. Brightness is great. Brightness is important. Please don't buy aftermarket headlights if they're not at least brighter than what you have now. These are 500% brighter, but they also have a much better beam pattern. The beam pattern might be more important than the overall brightness though. Think about if you had a beam pattern that was a big circle in the sky. It doesn't really matter how bright it is if it doesn't help you, the driver, see. The beam pattern created by the Morimoto XB LED Hybrid headlights is just like anything you're going to see on a high-end luxury modern vehicle. The projectors make a super wide, crisp, and centrally bright pattern that will improve your nighttime driving experience dramatically. This is probably what you're used to seeing with your stock halogen headlights. Our lux meter only picks up 120 maximum lux in this test. That's insanely low. We have literally tested fog lights that are brighter than your low beam. Now, yes, you could swap out the halogen bulbs for a new set and get a little bit more light output, but it's not going to compare to the Morimoto XB. These stock headlights that you have don't even look like a headlight beam pattern. They look like a dim yellow fuzzy go-kart light that isn't even legal to be on the road. Are you ready for an upgrade? Because here it is. The Morimoto XB Hybrid headlights come in at 720 maximum lux. That's 500% brighter than what you started with. Not only that, check out the difference in beam pattern. You've got those 2 huge hot spots, one for each headlight, right at the top center of each beam. That's going to give you that extra punch down the road so you can see farther than you ever thought possible. But look at how wide these are. There's also a lot of brightness that still goes left and right. It's not just a pretty beam pattern, these are engineered to help you see better and drive longer. When we flip your stock headlights to high beam, they're more than twice as bright as your low beam, but they're still a very small beam pattern, and this high beam is still not as good as a lot of modern vehicles' low beam. The high beam on the Morimoto LED headlights, on the other hand, are amazing. These things come in at 1,570 maximum lux, which is almost 400% brighter than what you got now. This is a huge upgrade. If anybody thinks this isn't going to completely change the way you drive your truck, they're crazy. There's no reason why these shouldn't be on your Tacoma, so now let's show you how to do the install.
Thanks, Chris. Let's get started by popping the hood. All right, the first step on the install is to remove the grill. To do that, we have to remove 2 clips and 2 bolts. They're 10 millimeters. Let's get started. Now we have these 2 10 millimeter bolts. Now that the tab and bolts are removed, we can now begin taking off the grill. Before you do that, you have to lift up on these little tabs here in order to clear these nipples right here. There's 8 tabs that line the bottom of the grill. You have to press down on them and pull out and you'll be able to remove it. I'll start with the one on the end here. It was difficult to see with the grill on the vehicle, but now that we have it removed, you can now see the 8 tabs that are on the bottom of the grill. And now that you see where those are located, we can set it off to the side. The next thing we're going to remove is the trim pieces that go along the bottom of the headlight. They're held on by these little green tabs right here. It's best to use a little pry tool and put the tool against the bracket right here so it doesn't break. Repeat the same thing for the other side. Okay, begin by removing the front bumper. There's 3 clips that align the front. Let's get started. Now we can begin by loosening the front bumper. There's 3 bolts on each side. There's 1 inside of the fender and 2 along the bottom. Let's get to it. Now let's get this clip to remove it, turn it a quarter turn, and pry it off. And let's do the same thing on the other side. Make sure you pull along the side of the bumper near the ends and pull towards you. A little tip, make sure you put some tape along the side of the fender so it does not scratch up the paint with the bumper when it rests there. Now with the bumper pulled back, we can begin by removing the headlight housing. There's 4 bolts. There's 2 along the bottom and 2 along the top. These are the bolts that are not accessible now that we have the bumper pulled forward. I like to start off by undoing the bottom bolts first and then removing the top bolts. And now for the top 2 bolts. Now we can remove this bottom clip. To remove this, make sure you press against these 2 little tabs. The last step in removing the headlight housing is to pop off this clip right here. To get that off, you'll need a flathead screwdriver. Just place it against the end and pop right off. First, you're going to remove the main headlight plug, now the turn signal, and then the side marker. Now you can set this up to the side. Now before we install the headlight housings, we need to run the DRL harness. We're going to run the longer cable right here to the passenger side and the shorter one to the driver's side. Let's get started. Now that we're at the driver's side of the vehicle, we begin by removing the fuse box cover. We're going to begin by removing this 10-amp fuse. Now we can install this fuse tap for the DRL harness. It goes right where we took out the old 10-amp fuse. Now we can begin by running the harness so we can close the fuse box cover. I like to tuck it in on the side right here. All right, now we can pull the driver's side of the DLR harness through. And just leave it hanging right there. Now we can run the passenger side of the DRL harness. You're going to want to run it along the top of the core support of the radiator. The Morimoto hybrid housing still retain the halogen turn signal bulb, so to complete the full LED look, we're going to replace them with this GTR carbide bulb. If you're wanting to do the same LED bulb upgrade to your Tacoma, make sure you buy the CK style bulbs. Now we can begin by plugging up all the connections that we took off of the old housing. Next is the main headlight connection. Now the side marker. And finally we have the DRL connector. Before you button everything back up, make sure you run through all the functions of the headlight just to make sure you put all the connections on properly. Let's run through them now. Now that we've ran through all the functions of the headlight and see they all work properly, now we can go back through the wiring and zip tie any loose ends and button the truck back up.
Everybody knows that Toyota trucks drive farther than anything else on the road. You know what else will help you drive farther is the brightness and quality beam pattern from the Morimoto XB LED Hybrid headlights. This super wide beam pattern and super bright down the road not only will keep you safer from hitting deer and risk retiring your truck before it needs to be replaced, but the brightness in the beam pattern also reduces eye fatigue, which is a major contributing factor to getting tired on road trips. It's a no-brainer. They look amazing, they're super bright, they're cool, they're going to keep you safe and driving your truck farther like it was designed. If you want to find out what else you can do to your Toyota Tacoma, check out our other videos and the website at headlightrevolution.com. Thanks for watching.